Hello everyone,
How are you? My name is Jean Pierre.
my name is Ali, and this is going to be our first video in this channel. This is going to be a language channel basically, and we thought of kicking off with a tag, which is called the language tag. So let's get started. First question, what do you consider to be your native language?
For me, it is really easy because my native language is Spanish.
Right.
I'm from Venezuela and I live here in Spain. So
Okay. In my case, I was born and bred in Barcelona, so I speak both Catalan and Spanish equally, so I would say both are my native languages.
the second one. What was your first language learning experience?
I would say my first language learning experience was when I started learning Japanese. I think I was 14. I don't really consider English to be a language learning experience because I was forced to study it since I was 5. Of course, there came a moment when I started really liking it, but it's a compulsory subject, so it's not really the same as a language you choose to study and you really love. So I would say it was Japanese when I was 14, definitely. What about you?
Well, I think that it's the same as you.
Right.
I started in high school French, but it was a language that I loved so much. So I think that it was my first experience because I was every day at home studying.
Right. I too took French at high school, but I hated it because the teacher was horrible and I didn't like it at all. So I ended up loathing French completely. So I don't want to study it. Third question, what languages have you studied and why do you start them?
Well, apart from English and French, I started 4 years ago German because I needed to study tourism
Right.
in the university. Apart from that, I have tried to learn Hebrew
Right.
because I don't know why, but I love this language and I want to speak it. And maybe I have tried to learn Japanese, Chinese, Polish, but
Yeah. The typical meal
Yes.
languages you try to learn but you never do.
so I think that's
Right. I have studied Japanese. Actually, I'm still studying it. It's been like 6 years already, so it's been a long time. I'm studying German right now. And the same as you, I've tried to learn several languages, which I haven't learned in the end. Like Russian, Chinese, and even Korean, but this didn't lead anywhere, so.
4. How does your personality affect how you learn languages?
I guess you mean the process of learning. I'm pretty shy when I don't know people, so I'm not the type of person that can like go out and talk to people like that. So I normally learn languages at home without going out much. But I wouldn't say that's a problem, mainly because I've learned English here. I haven't really talked to many people, but I haven't had any problem taking the C2 level and I've passed it. So I think motivation is key, basically. What about you?
Well, I'm like you. I'm a shy person.
Right.
And I don't tend to go out and speak with people. And apart from that, I think that I'm lazy.
Yeah.
So if I don't follow a course, like if I don't go to a high school, maybe I can give up the learning process.
Right. Yeah. Question 5. Do you prefer learning languages in class or individually?
Well, this is a hard question because I think that I need to start in a class
Right.
with a teacher, maybe in the first level
Yeah.
as A2, A1, A2.
Yeah.
But then you can learn individually, and both have advantages and disadvantages. But in the end, I prefer individually.
Yeah. I would say prefer individually. Mainly because all the languages I've studied or I've tried to study, I learned them individually. So English and Japanese, I didn't have a teacher for either of them, and I think I did pretty well without one. So I even think that you can learn faster if you don't have a teacher or a class, because some people might slow down your pace and it might be more difficult for you to learn at your own pace, right? Because maybe you have a fast pace and some people have a slow one, so you have kind of to get used to their way of learning. That's not a good thing sometimes. So I would say I prefer to learn individually. I can learn whatever I want and at my pace, so that's a good thing, I think.
6. What are your favorite language learning materials?
Okay, that's a really hard question. Mainly because I don't have a lot of certain materials to learn languages. It depends on the language I'm learning. I think it's a really good idea to make friends that speak that language in order for you to practice. And it's also a good idea to follow certain courses on the internet or buy some books to learn, whether it is A1, A2, B1, whatever. But you must follow a certain course in order not to get lost. Otherwise, it's really hard to maintain the process and the pace. So I think you should follow a book or a course. And also, I think that from B2 level on, you can do it on your own. You don't have to follow a certain course. You can read. You're basically on your own then. So from that point on, you don't need anything. What about you?
I don't have anything else to add.
Okay.
Because he has said everything.
Okay.
But what I can say is that Duolingo is not my favorite material because I don't like the way it works. So.
Right. Question 7. How much time do you spend actively learning per day or week?
Well, now in summer, I say 0 hours.
Yeah. We're not studying virtually anything. Basically, because, we're on holiday. But normally, in my case, for example, I would say at least half an hour a day, normally more, because I love studying languages, so it's not really tiring or anything. What about you?
Well, I would say that maybe 4 hours a week.
Right.
Because I was in the language school and so I have to do some homework and...
Okay.
8. What are your short-term and long-term language goals?
I would say my short-term goal would be learning German up to a C1 level before July 2020, which is pretty ambitious because I have an A1 barely. But I want to go and study in Germany, so I really need that level if I want to do it. So I will spend the whole year learning German. That would be my short-term goal. What about you?
My short-term goal could be reach B2 level in German.
Right.
Because now I will go to Germany the whole semester
Mm-hmm.
to study it there, and maybe the next year I want to get a C1 in English.
Okay.
Maybe I have to improve my English a lot.
And regarding the long-term goal, I have quite a lot of goals. I would say like we have to study Finnish next year, so I don't know if it's a short term or a long term, but we have to get to a B1 level by the end of next year. Then I will study Faroese probably, and Greenlandic, and I have to retake Italian. So that would be my goals, my long-term goals. What about yours?
My goals are getting a B1 level in Finnish.
Mm-hmm.
That's like you.
Yeah.
And then maybe I want to study Catalan,
Okay.
Hebrew, and French. And I think that my long-term goal is to become a polyglot.
Okay. That's a good one. Mine would be too. Also, I want to cast light on the fact that next year, while we're learning Finnish, we'll record videos of that. So we'll have all the learning process recorded and we'll upload it to YouTube. Just saying, in case you want to watch it. Question 9. What is your favorite language?
Hebrew.
Okay, that was an easy one, right?
Yes.
I don't know that. That's not easy at all. Yeah, I forgot to mention I've studied Swedish.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Swedish. I like it a lot. So I would say either Swedish or Icelandic or Faroese, those three. I like them a lot. So one of those three would be my favorite language.
10. What is the next language you want to learn?
Finnish. Next year, yeah.
Finnish.
Last question. What advice can you give to new language learners?
Oof.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Well, I think that my advice could be keep on.
Right.
Yes. And if you want it, you will get it.
Yeah, definitely. Because some people expect to have a really good level in a really short amount of time. You cannot do that, so don't be deceived. And you have to keep going. Even if you don't feel like doing it one day, you have to keep studying every day in order to improve. Otherwise you won't. And you will feel as if you were not good enough, or as if you could not do it, which isn't the case. So the key for learning a language, I would say, is motivation and studying every day.
And practice.
And practicing, yeah.
And we have internet, so there you can find a lot of friends from all over the world.
Yeah, you can meet a lot of people on the internet. So it's really easy to learn new things, to contact with people that speak your target language. So it hasn't ever been as easy as today to learn a language.
So that's it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And
we'll see you next time. See ya.
Bye.